Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. I have been working on the minigame and I've got absolutely nothing to show for it because it's all redstone, it's all hidden away underground, but it means that I'm ready to show you and build the challenges that the hermits are going to undertake inside each of those 5 rooms. And we're going to get stuck into that later on in the episode because right now I have an errand to run and it just happened to coincide with something that I wanted to do, which was show off this amazing little town that has popped up just outside Area 77. Now you could say this is a little bit spooky, but False just happened to contact me before I was coming over here. Oh, coincidences, right? Also, there is a cow being abducted by a flying saucer. I mean, that's a thing in this place. But yes, False contacted me and I have an errand to run for her. She needs a whole bunch of wall blocks to make some maps for a project. If it's related to this one or not, I do not know, but I wanted to come over here anyway and show off just the amazing amount of details and work that's gone into this little town. There is a diner, a motel. Over here we've got the Area 77 Alien Center, and then False even has her own mayor building as well. It is super cool, just this little town popping up outside the Area 77, and there's some gorgeous details going on here, and it is a really cool project. But yes, we need to get a whole bunch of wool together for False, and that's what we're going to take care of right now. So we need over 100 stacks of wool, and that means we're going to go visit the wool farm. So I've emptied out my ender chest so we can transport all of these shulker boxes that we have reserved for wool. There is a lot of them, and I think when we get over there we're going to find that there's lots of wool stored and ready for us to use as well. If you've never seen it before, here in the End Dimension we have covered an entire area in water to get rid of the Enderman, and then we've built a sheep farm that has a lot of sheep inside of it, and it didn't occur to me to stock this thing up. But then again, it looks like it's already been stocked. There are plenty of shears in place here, and just from the few that we've used so far, this thing has produced an extraordinary amount of wool. So as you can see, last time we were here we pretty much took most of the wool back with us, but that's only for certain colours. You can see some are less popular, therefore we've accumulated more over here. So I'm going to put those shulker boxes back up there so we can start to refill them, and then I've brought some regular shulker boxes in which we're going to take some of the less popular colours and then use these to dye them into different colours for False. So a glorious wall of rainbow shulker boxes is back, and the least popular colours are cyan, which was a little surprising, pink and magenta as well. So those are the least popular colours that the hermits have been getting from us. And also if you click over here in this hopper, you can just see a constant and steady flow of wool coming through from up above. And it doesn't back up, but it is very close to doing so. And if you haven't seen this farm before, I first built it in episode 743 of this series. And then sometime around episode 814, after that, when we updated to 1.14, is when I came over here and adapted this thing to be fully automatic. As you can see, there are several shearing stations where it used to be an AFK farm where either player would stand over here and shear. And you know what? I really like this addition. I love that we can just come over here and have it all run automatically. So the very convenient thing is, False wants 93 stacks of red and 33 stacks of white, and of course I've got a huge stash of bone meal over here. And up in this space we have our flower farm, so we can get all the red dye and all the white dye that we need. And now that I think about it, if I'd have done some maths before heading over there and just thinking, hey, 3 shulker boxes is enough, I would have realised that I actually need 4.5 worth. So I guess I've got to take another trip to the End Dimension. Oh, I am a derp. I've also used some redstone to help me do this. This was an absolute grind. It took a fair bit of time to convert all of this stuff, but it has been done. And in the process, I have really burned through a large supply of my bone blocks. Goodness me. We will have to take care of that another time, as I want to move on to our minigame that we're creating. So I'm just going to drop these off over at Mayor False's house. And oh, do I love this mod. That looks so cool. So let's get back to business. We're here to work on this minigame, and I noticed that there is a path leading in this direction, probably to go through this area for other minigames. It's basically going to lead into the entrance to our game, which I am yet to construct. However, the players will make their way into this little lobby that you've seen already. You'll now notice that there is a pressure plate here, and there's also a pressure plate all the way over there as well. This does have one fundamental flaw that I'm going to have to make very clear to the hermits. If you step on the same pressure plate twice, you will break the timer. This is the redstone that I've added. So the timer starts when you step on the pressure plate here, and then it stops when you exit the room at the other end. And around the back here, you'll see that I've created a network of tunnels going underground. So down here underneath the minigame rooms, we have some redstone leading from the start and the end to this single contraption. It really starts where the sticky piston is here. So it creates a 1-tick pulse which moves that block across, creates a clock which will power this dropper, which moves items from here over to there, and then that becomes a score that tells us how long between the pressure plates being activated, right? When it gets activated the second time, this thing gets pulled back to its current position. So after a hermit's played, I've got to come down here and reset it, and that's why I need to talk to all of the hermits when we play and organize it, you know, so I'll probably be introducing them to the game and all of that stuff. So you'll see that there are several of these, 5 in total for the 5 different rooms, and this is what I've spent my time doing, carving out these behind the scenes areas and just putting in the redstone to make it all work. If the redstone looked familiar at all, that's because it's been featured over here on Rendog's fantastic Hermit Racing Speedway. I was over here checking it out the other day, and he said, why don't you give it a go, and showed me the timer over here, which is apparently active at the moment, so let's quickly reset that. So you've seen this already, it moves items from one dropper to this one over here, and then you can use that as a score for how long it took you. And I had an alright score the other day, I think it was like 2 3/4 stacks, and I thought, why don't we try and beat that today? Now this requires some concentration for me because I am no way good at racing these boats. But I'm going to give it my best shot. And obviously the objective here is to try and get on that blue ice. And I am doing a terrible job. Goodness me. Oh, this is probably the worst lap I've ever done. But I love this. It's absolutely genius. And my favourite bit is coming up because the very last turning there is like this big drift section. And it is so cool if you hit it right. And because I'm recording, I was going to say I won't hit it, but I've actually hit it perfectly. And we've drifted over the last part, and we've hit the pressure plates again, which means we can find out what score we've got. So this will be the system we have inside of our minigames, except we have a pressure plate at the beginning of the room and a pressure plate at the end, and they activate the same bit of redstone. So, what was my score? That is awesome. That is way better than I did the other day. So, 2 stacks and 11 is my current best. So heading back over to our minigame, I've constructed an entrance for this. Check it out, that is the name of the game. It is Undying. And I did actually want to call this Immortal, but the M's would be too wide. It's very hard to make M's that look good with these 3 wide blocks. So I've gone with Undying instead. Of course, the Totem of Undying is going to be a key part of this game. And that's why we're using terracotta and yellow terracotta. These are actually the colours we use for our shop in the shopping district for the Totem of Undying. So I borrowed those, and I've borrowed a little bit of a concept from Cubfan. Let's actually grab a rocket here. Can you see this entrance behind me? I really like the way the blocks came forward there, and so I wanted to make something that's like a tower, and then have that kind of thing again at the base. So that's how we got the shape that we got right here, but as you can see, it is yet to be finished. I'm going to continue building this, and this little area right here will simply serve as a way to direct the player around the corner and into the lobby, and somewhere around here we're actually going to explain how the game is played to them. Things are coming together quickly at the moment. We've got our path leading up to the building. The building's been finished. The interiors are done. Oh, it's looking so good around here. Just adding some lighting on the way up to the build. In fact, I've used these lanterns like around the place, just poking them into these little spaces. I don't know what's going to go on either side of here either, because I'm probably not going to need a lot of signs to explain the game. So I have a few of them, probably on this wall over here. This will be our explaining part. And then they can go in and play the game over there. You can see I had to move a couple of things because of the way we've linked this up. But yeah, just using some of the terracotta textures and it all looks pretty slick. Now I need to do a little bit of transforming over on this side just to cover up some of the ugliness. And I've kind of started that over here, as you'll see as well, as now we've got all this kind of stuff poking out. And yeah, that actually looks pretty odd from this side here, right? There we go, big improvement, extended those things upwards, and then sorted out all of the grass around here, doing a little bit of landscaping. Obviously I need to come back here, put down some bushes and grass, but we can take care of that later on. I want to focus on this entrance so we can start checking out what's going to be inside of this game. Okay, I think this will work. At a later time, we're just going to put murals on either side here, so it becomes pretty obvious that you just walk down into this space, and then there's some signs on the wall. Welcome to Undying. The objective of this game is to get rid of your totem as fast as you can. There are 5 timed rooms, all with a unique challenge. Use your wits and act as fast as you can. Contact Xisuma before playing. There are some additional rules that are going to apply, like making sure that you've eaten before you play, and it's just occurred to me, players should probably put their items into a chest of some form. Yes, place all of your items in the chest before playing. Cool, I think that's everything covered, and now my friends, I need to make a PSA, that's a public service announcement. If you are a hermit, you are not allowed to watch the next part of this video. This is the No Hermit Zone. If you are whitelisted, it is time to tune out. Otherwise, it'll be considered cheating, as the secrets of the game are about to be revealed. So here is the devious idea for the Undying game. There are many ways in this game to take damage, and I've been going through all of them and putting some challenges together where the hermits will try and kill themselves as quick as possible, but they will be holding a totem so they won't actually die, which makes this whole challenge really convenient because you could do it without the Totem of Dying, but then you've got to sort out where the player respawns and all of that kind of stuff, and it means it's more tricky to stack up a whole bunch of challenges in a row. So I've been setting one up in here, and each of the challenges are different, and they all come with a hint as well. This one says, the harder you jump, the further you fall. And harder means harder as in parkour. As you'll see, there is a little bit of a parkour challenge in here. This one, I gotta say, is probably the least interesting of all of them, by the way. But the idea is, if you make the harder jumps, this being the harder route, you take more damage when you fall. And the further along you go, the more damage you're going to take when you fall from higher up. So the hermits are going to have to assess the environment and figure out what strategy they want to do. Do they want to pull off all of the hardest jumps and get all the way up to the top here, and there are multiple paths to the top? Or do they perhaps want to go the easier way so they can get to a certain height and then just fall down, take a little bit of damage, and go back around and do it again? Now I've got a little bit more to add to this as well. I want to put some scaffolding in here to cushion the fall in some of the areas. If you fall off over here, it's kind of easy to get to this bit, and I want to encourage them to get around onto these iron bars. When you get over to this bit right here, you can kind of follow the iron bars around and then jump up a couple of blocks and fall down from there. If you take the harder route, you get this tricky jump, then you get onto the ice, and there's kind of some misleading jumps to other iron blocks. There is a sort of diagonal jump, I forget where it is, somewhere around here. There's a very awkward way to get up to that ladder on top of there and then make your way across to the ones that I'm pointing at up here, including this crazy jump. And if you get up to that bit, obviously you're going to fall down and take way more fall damage. Let's put in the last of these scaffolding. And with that, I believe the scaffolding doesn't create any shortcuts to get back up onto the jumping bits. And that is the challenge. I don't even know what the best strategy is, and that's what I think is really cool about this challenge, because each hermit that you go and watch is going to have an entirely different thought process on how they deal with the environment that they're in, and then the decisions that they're going to make. And of course, this is going to take some hermits more time than others. So once they've used their Totem of Undying, then they're allowed to exit the room, which I don't want to do because I've got a timer down there. We don't want to accidentally set that off. Right, let's have a look at our hint for the next room. Bang your head once, twice, or thrice. This one is probably my favourite of all the challenges, but its execution here is unfortunately a little bit flawed. I don't think I thought things through all the way. As you can see, we've got a room here full of anvils, and this room goes down underground because I was going to have an anvil quite high up, and it would have a load of scaffolding under it, but then it'd be really obvious that that's the one to run to and then punch and get killed in one go, because you can stand underneath the falling anvil and you will take damage. And not a lot, but then again, I'm wearing armor. So the player in here is probably going to just end up going, right, spam click, punch this one, punch that one, take as much damage as quick as you can. So I think what we'll do is change the layout here a little bit. So if you walk further away over to this corner, then you will have the higher ones. But we're going to employ soul sand down on the ground, and then that way you have to walk slowly to get further away, and so the players have a bit more of a decision to make. But even if the game itself is flawed, remember, it's always the same scenario for each hermit, so therefore it's fair. It is going to be a delight to see the hermits scrambling in here, trying to splat their own faces with anvils. As you can see, the tallest one, which doesn't actually kill you in one go, it's in the corner where all the soul sand is. I've also done something else here really smart. I've made a schematic inside of this area. If I were to go in here and change something, it would show us, hey, there needs to be a block there, right? So after a hermit's played, I can restore it the exact same way for the next person. Room number 3. The wise soul sees all paths at once. It sounds so mysterious, doesn't it? I'm just trying to warm up the hermits a little bit for what's about to come, as they will have paths to choose, and each of these paths will inflict damage upon them. We've got sweet berries, which when they're grown up will inflict damage on you. They'll also slow you down as well, so I'm actually going to space these out a little bit. And of course the objective is to die, so they need to be able to take damage while they're doing this challenge. The other choices are the Wither Rose and Fire, and I'll let you in on a little secret. The trick is to stack the different damage types together, so you can be on fire and also be withered at the same time. I think we're going to space these out a little bit, like so, and probably the fire as well, just because the players are going to be running through here without any armor on, and it could be a little bit brutal, so I think something like that is going to work. This is probably one of the challenges that isn't going to be executed so well, but I think the hermit that runs into here, set themselves on fire, then gets withered and then runs out on fire again is probably going to die the quickest, but of course survive and then exit through the door. Room number 4 has the best hint of all. Breathing is optional, drowning is not. And the best way to see this game is before it's finished, as we're going to be putting in a roof at this height here, and then filling the room with lava and removing any critters that have made their way inside. So this is going to be a swimming challenge where the player walks in and then goes down into swim mode. Now if they go over the soul sand, that is going to replenish their breath and mean it takes longer for them to run out of air and then eventually die. There are also these obstacles where they have to think, can I go around that? Will I, go into the soul sand? And if not, they're going to have to navigate carefully around like this, slowly letting the breathing meter go down. Now there are some magma blocks in here over at the back, which is another way to take damage, and it's up to them if they want to come over here, take some damage, and then make their way over to the door, which is probably actually the better strategy of all of them. There's also a lot of soul sand here in case someone decides to go straight to the exit, because then they'll be waiting to run out of breath and then eventually they will run out of health. So anyway, what I've got to do now is just put a roof on this thing and flood it full of water. So this is what it's going to be like for the player, a sunken maze to try and avoid the bubbles and pay attention to what's going on in the corners over here. Yes, it's going to be interesting just to see how the hermits play this. The 5th and final challenge, a swift decision could be deadly. Now you'll see there's nothing inside of this room, but in the very middle we're going to put down a chest. We're going to put some wings inside of it and some rockets for the hermits to use. This is their challenge, to die as quickly as they can. That was rather peculiar, but actually a really good example of what I'm talking about. You see, the hermits are going to open this chest, they've got to grab some rockets, elytra, go up into the sky and judge when to fall down and destroy themselves, but of course survive with the Totem of Undying. And if they fail to kaplat into the ground, they've got to do the jump again, which wastes even more time. Oh, this Undying game is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I'm brimming with excitement. And over the next week, after you're watching this episode, I'll be getting in contact with the hermits and getting them to come along and play this when I can. You'll also see that I'm walking along a new path. I did this in a live stream, and it's so that we can link some things together, including the exit to this. So that's the final room. We're probably going to build some sort of little walkway that comes down over the side here. We'll have a nice communal area. I'm thinking it might be a cool opportunity to plant some trees, put down some bushes, and kind of hide the ugliness of all of this, right? Just have a little garden and, yeah, connect up to this path, which goes down here to the front of Iskal's game. We're also going to connect it up to the exit of the floor is lava, and eventually around to the path that is somewhere over in this direction. You know what? I actually got some more time this episode, so I'd like to focus on making this area look a little bit more interesting. And I started off by building the exit, so you walk out of that room and down here. And you can see I'm mirroring with Iskal's build theme here. Since we're using the same colour terracotta, I've decided to introduce the concrete. Now a quick note, I went down here and I lit up all of Iskal's redstone with torches because I could hear mobs down here again. And I was watching his video, he walked down into this area, and guess what? There was a creeper, just like last time when I went down here. No, 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 no. I don't have a bow. This whole time I've been hearing moaning and groaning, and it's all in his redstone. So yeah, I made a bunch of funny noises, and elybeatmaker actually made a remix out of that clip with Keralis involved as well. It's really cool. If I remember, I'll put a link to the video in the description box down below. Anyway, I watched Iskal's video, and there was a creeper there as well. Unfortunately, he wasn't so lucky as to have noticed it, and it blew up his redstone. But anyway, what we're going to start off by doing is just flattening all of the terracotta here. So we're going to bring it down and upwards to a particular height, all the way around, and then we're going to go and add in the concrete pillars. There we go. There's some shapes just right there that look a little bit odd, but otherwise the rest of it is really clean going all the way around. Oh, I should probably add some over on this side as well, right? Luckily there is a gap for that, so we'll throw something over here as well. But now what I'm going to do is actually rip out pretty much most of this grass and then replace it with a palette similar to this. We're going to create like a garden, but we're going to start off with a stone foundation. This is really cool. It's very moon-like, and it feels like you've got a bunch of alien structures here. It's not actually the direction I wanted to go in. I kind of wanted to build some grassy patches with flowers on top of here, but I've got a bit of a different idea that we'll try out next. However, it's going to involve using some materials that I obtained in a rather particular way. So let's jump to something that happened earlier while I was playing on the Hermitcraft server. Oh my goodness me. Not again. Whoa, hang on, hang on. No! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's happened again, peeps. It's, oh my, look at this! Oh, do you know what this is? Oh my goodness me. It's Keralis! He's pranked me of all people. I probably deserve a whole bunch of bushes in my inventory right now, because I was the one that passed the hot potato on to him. Oh, this is going to take me a while to get out of here as well. Which way to my little AFK chest where my items are? This way, I believe, past the bush. I need my axe. I need it immediately. I've been locked in. It's not fair. Oh yeah. Oh, this is about to get so much worse because I was really clever. You know, knowing I was going to go AFK, I brought my anti-AFK prank kit with me, which was actually a bunch of dirt to fill up every single slot with, and I forgot to use it. And that would have been perfect if I'd have done that. I could have foiled the prank, but I'm such a derp. Oh, what is wrong with me? There is something definitely wrong with me. How many fence posts are in here? Jeez, this is like a flashback to Season 1 of Hermitcraft when me and Biffa filled up someone's entire base with these things. Oh dear, I hope it's just this area. So here is a clip from Season 1 of Hermitcraft, or several clips actually. This was Generic's B's base, and what me and Biffa did in episode 093 was fill it from top to bottom, left to right, back and forth with fence posts, and that actually caused a lot of lag back then. It was a tremendous prank, and Keralis obviously played on Season 1, and it just fondly reminded me of that. I'm pretty sure he was referencing this classic moment. Anyway, I just wanted to waffle for a bit and show you some clips from that episode so you know what we're talking about. Yeah, I pretty much deserved that, you know, pranking the new guy. Oh, I think that's all of the damage, right. Hey, and you know, I like to use leaves for decoration, so we got something good out of this. I don't think it's all bad. Next time, however, I simply must remember to use my anti-AFK kit. That was kind of a huge derp on my half. Oh, it continues! It continues! That's not all of it! That's not all of it at all! Oh, he's filled in all of this as well! Oh, I totally deserve this. Oh my goodness me. If I know one thing, it's that Keralis has been busy chopping down trees, and what a way to get me back as well. I hope this is the last of it. I hope there isn't a punch in the Nether Tunnel as well. I doubt Keralis would put them... Yeah, look, they're not behind the scenes. No! Oh, my minecarts are broken again. Oh, why do they keep doing that? Where's the other one? The other one's working. Okay. That's at least half good. Well, I won't be needing to craft any fence posts for a while, that's a good thing. And also, I was over here to get some bone meal because we used loads earlier, so I can replenish my stock, which is fantastic. Oh, Keralis, my man, you have got me good. I really didn't think there'd be any over here. Oh my goodness me, how far does this go? How far does this go? No, come on. Oh, it looks like it goes all the way to the end. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This must have taken forever. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty floored. This is bonkers. Oh my goodness me. How long is this tunnel? I'm only mining a third of it and it's taking forever. It seems like the end is just nowhere in sight. Oh. Well, I believe that was all there was, and look at this. Keralis has used a crazy amount of materials to prank me there. The new guy is busy. But one thing I noticed is that I don't have the hot potato back, so Keralis may have just passed it on to another hermit, but I have been pranked in retaliation, and you know what? Yeah, I think I deserve that. So, this isn't going quite to plan. You'll see some experiments I've been conducting in this area. The plan sort of was to just throw down the stone and then put grass and green blocks on top of it, but I've actually grown really fond of this and I feel like we should take it in a different direction. So I pictured myself using the fence posts and leaf blocks from Keralis to make a garden over here, and I also experimented with building a bigger tree. I'm not really very good at this stuff, but I like the idea of using a barrel at the bottom, and then you could also use a composting block and maybe fill that up as well. Let's do that right now. Yeah, that looks really good actually. That's a cool base to put a tree on. But yeah, I just don't really want to rip up this ground and put grass around the bottom. I don't think it's going to look very good. You know, it's probably just a matter of balance now. Like, we need to strike a balance between having grass and greenery amongst our stone, and it can probably be achieved, but I just really like the way this was pushing me in a moon direction a moment ago. So I'm actually going to rip out this greenery and see if we can make some features and sort of preserve this moon-like feeling here. I've added in a little light grey concrete powder here and there, not too much of it, and I'm starting to think maybe I've hit that point where I've just been on here for too long and the creative juices are drying up, because as much as I love this terrain, I'm actually really not sure what to put in here, but that could also be because it's moon-like. There's not actually going to be a lot going on here, right? And so there are a final couple of details I can think of, you know, maybe throwing some cobblestone, chuck down a few blocks like this to change up the shape here and there, you know, just so it's a little bit more variated. And apart from that, I can't really think of what else to do. So in my mind, it's now clearly a time to take a break from this. Well, I've thrown in some subtle and minor changes here and there, and I'm also thinking this looks a little bit janky. I really do need to just give myself a break from this and let the mind reset. But the good thing is, we have of course finished this mini game, and throughout the week, I'm going to be meeting up with the hermits and getting them to play this one by one. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they react to the challenges. I'm looking forward to it. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do leave a like. And if you've got any ideas for this area right here, leave a comment down below. And maybe we'll build some things in here. I'm not sure how it's going to go. But that is it from me this episode of Hermitcraft. I hope you've been entertained. And I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.